In this video, let me show you how to create a repository in GitHub, clone the repository using Visual Studio Code, and create a file folder, push the code back to GitHub. Just the basic operations you need to be successful using Visual Studio Code and GitHub. At this point, you should have downloaded Git to your local, and you should have downloaded Visual Studio Code. So those are two important steps before we go into the video. So this is Visual Studio Code, and here I have my GitHub login. I'm going to say create a new repository. So there's a plus sign up top. Click on the plus sign, say new repository. So there is a certain naming convention that I'd like to follow. Usually the repository name should be your first name, last name, followed by your course number. The reason being that you share your repository with me, and if everyone has the same name, like just the class name, I wouldn't know whose code is what. So please follow that. For me, because I'm not sharing with anyone else, I'm just going to say Spring 2020 IT 1150. So you want to say something like, first name, initial, last name, IT 1150 or 2320 or whatever is your course number. I am creating a public repository. You should create a private repository. Okay. So, and then always say initialize this repository with README, and then say create repository. We click on the button create repository. So there is my initial repository created with one file. Let us go Visual Studio Code. So there are like a few symbols here. The first one shows you all the folder structure and workspace and all that. This guy is search. This is going to show you if you have made any changes. After you make changes, you click here and it will show you the changes. This is to debug and run. We won't be using that. And extensions also we don't use. So let us go and say view command palette git clone. If you don't see anything that is related to Git, it means you did not download Git. Copy this URL and then paste it inside this box. Hit enter. So right now a copy of my GitHub repository is being made on my local machine. So I'm choosing the folder where I want to create this repository. A repository, creating a repository, cloning a repository is nothing but making a folder that's a copy of your GitHub. So that's the folder. It's still working. Okay, it's done. So let's refresh this. See, there's the README file. So whatever is on my GitHub got pulled to my local folder. So it is asking me, would you like to open the cloned repository? Click open. You don't have to save. On the left side, you can see that your repository is created and opened. And you have only one file inside called README. It's empty. So see these little symbols here. The first one is to create a new file. Second one is to create a new folder. Third one is to refresh. And the fourth one is to collapse. Collapse is this way. You just collapse like that. So what we need to do is we need to create a folder. Let me show you. By clicking on this new folder, you create a folder. In this box, you give the name of the folder. I'm going to say lab 2. So while lab 2 is highlighted, when you click on new file, it will create a file under lab 2. Let's call it index.html. If you are highlighted on the Spring 2020 or on the README and then you click on new file, it will create a file outside. So let me show you this. As soon as we created this new index.html, this particular one tells me, this particular third option, 1, 2, 3, shows me that there is a change. There is a change that has been introduced on your local. So that is what it is telling me here. So what you can do is you can click here, and then in this box, if you want to like push this change, you can say lab2 file added and then enter. Like just click this check mark. That will commit the file to GitHub. Then we have to push the file to GitHub. So any change I make on my local drive, I want to push it to GitHub. That is exactly what is happening. It says no more changes because it got pushed. So click on this. So it says push. Click on that. So we do a commit and then we do a push. It's 2 steps. Okay, now let's refresh our GitHub. Let's see if our changes made it. Not yet, it's still doing it. So remember the 2 steps. You have to do a commit, you have to do a push. I will show you another way of doing it also. Okay, the connection seems really slow. It's taking a lot of time. That's why you see the spinny wheel here down below. Another way to do a commit while this is working, let me show you the other way. You can go to view, command palette, and you can actually choose commit all and push. First do commit all, then do push. So you can also do from view command palette, and you can also do from this particular source control. So let me show you. You can go here on the left, you can see the little symbol here, and then click on that and then enter the commit ID, check, click here, push, and then you're done. Or you can go to view command palette, git commit all, and then once that is done, git push. Okay, both of that are same. They'll give you the same result. But as soon as the commit is done, you have to like refresh the GitHub and make sure that your changes are right there. Like my change has been added here. So that's what I see. So I want all of the changes for every lab to be inside its own folder. I don't want all the files all over. Similarly, the entire package, like for example, if you have images in a folder, if you have CSS in a separate folder, every single change should be self-contained. So lab2, if you say lab2 and it has like 2 subfolders and 4 files in each folder, all of that package should be uploaded to GitHub. I don't want anything outside of the lab folders. Hope this was helpful.